Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BaHa, YAHAWASHI, BaHa, RAWCHAA, QADASH. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And this video is going to be a response, all right, to a comment, and this is by the individual to all Israel 777, and basically he was asking a question, and instead of responding, I responded once on the comment board, but the spirit just hit me to just do a lesson on it, because there's sometimes when you want to explain something, you don't want to be sending paragraphs and essays. You might as well just speak on it. So pretty much he said, Shalom Zaquan, is the whole 100% Bible just for Israel only, or other nations too? Because Obadiah. And then I replied, I said, Shalom, you can just call me brother. I'm not a Zaquan. Zaquan means elder. It says, I said, the whole Bible is for only Israel, although it does mention other nations in relation to Israel and what they would do and what judgments would befall them. The book of Obadiah is an example of the judgment that will befall the nation of Edom/Ishah, because when you put the name Esau, they tend to take down your comment. And pretty much when you go into the Bible and you read it, the main characters of the whole scriptures from Genesis to Revelation, with the Apocrypha included, are the Israelites. All right, it's from the perspective of Israel, because the prophets were Israelites. All right, and when you read it, of course, you have laws, statutes, you have history, you have, various different incidents that took place. But even though these other nations are spoken of in the scriptures, it's usually in relation to us. Okay? When you read in the Bible, it doesn't talk about the what do they call that? The Trojan War with the certain things with these other nations, the Greeks, and it talks about the Greeks when it mentions them affecting Israel. Alexander. Okay, how come when you read it, it like pretty much when you go to the book of Maccabees, it goes more in depth when it talks about what's his name, Antiochus Epiphanes. All right, it doesn't really talk much about Antiochus III, which is his father. All right, and those above. When you go into Daniel 11, it does, but nonetheless, it's all going into prophecy or things that these nations would do that would affect Israel. All right, now he says, Baqar Ahmath, I don't know, Ak. I think if Obadiah is a message for Edom, how can the whole book just be for us then? Obadiah is a whole book written for Edom, but for us to teach them. Precept, Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations, all nations. I'll also ask Tahar too. I'm just new, Salakia, trying to be on your level. All right, which no, you shouldn't be worried about trying to be on my level. You should really focus on just trying to learn. All right, and grow. Okay, now when you deal with the book of Obadiah, okay, as I was mentioning, the book of Obadiah is not for Esau, it's about Esau. Okay, when you read the book of Obadiah, it's talking about Esau. It's not a book for Esau. Now, if Edomites want to learn about themselves and their future, they can come and read it. But this isn't written necessarily for them. It's written concerning them, it's written about them. All right, as it says here, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord. Now, Obadiah was an Israelite. So if it was a book for Edomite, why wouldn't the Lord have had an Edomite get this vision? Right? But it says the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. This is what the Lord said about Esau. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And as you read on down, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, this is what you're going to do, so on and so forth. And then it's talking about Esau, but it's talking about how he's ultimately going to be destroyed. Right? For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. This is basically pronouncing judgment against Esau. All right, it's still our book. Just because it talks about them doesn't mean that it's not our book. Because when you go into some of the books of these other nations, they talk about us. Does that make it our book? No. Some of these nations have certain verses and chapters in their book that talk about us. Okay, it's still their book. Just because it talks about us doesn't mean that it's now our book, or it's not only their book, but it's for all of us. The scriptures are there. Anybody can read it, but the Bible as a whole is not. It wasn't intended for everybody. It wasn't written say, this is for you the same way it's for me. No. Okay. And like I said, when it deals with these, and we're gonna get precepts to back this up, but when it talks about other nations, when you read in the book of Genesis, you read in the book of Exodus, it's from the perspective of Israel. The reason it mentions the Egyptians is because the Egyptians had us under captivity. The reason it mentions the Assyrians is because of what they did to us. Okay? The reason it mentions the Babylonians is because of what they did to us. Okay? It mentions the Medo-Persians because of what they did to us. It mentions the Greeks, what they did to us. The Romans, what they did to us. All right? But overall, it's still our book. It's our power, our God. Now, you had, I believe in the book of Numbers, what's this individual's name? The Most High raised them up. I believe it was Balaam. Okay, Most High raised them up to prophesy, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still our book, and it doesn't. It's not inclusive of these other nations, though it may talk about them. All right. So now let's go here to the book of Baruch, chapter 4, and as you said you're new, right? Yeah, you just new. So hey, my advice is, look, just don't try to rush it, because when you try to rush it, you may hear a certain elder or a certain brother teach, they may be bringing out certain information here and there, but that's not something you can get overnight. That's not something you can get in just 1 month, 2 months. You have to pray to the Lord, and he opens up your mind for you to gradually understand and grow. Now, when you try to, consume it too fast and jump and skip the milk straight to the meat, what happens is you don't build a strong foundation. And in a matter of no time, you're going to fall. Because when the challenge comes, your building has no foundation. You may know a lot of things, but if you're not rooted and you don't have a foundation, it's not going to do you any good. Okay? So it's not, don't look at it as trying to, I'm trying to learn all this so I could get up on this level here and there. Learn to learn so you can know and grow. All right. But as you do watch and as you do learn, all right, you're gonna understand, because understanding comes, but it comes with time. All right. This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth for what? Forever. Okay? The law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. All right? And this applies to the whole scriptures. All right? Now it says, turn thee, O Jacob, which Jacob is synonymous with Israel. But it didn't say turn thee, O Edom, or turn thee everybody. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated, pursuant to Isaiah. What is that? Isaiah, let's see. Isaiah 28 and 10. All right. Nope, not 28 and 10. Isaiah, I always get this mixed up. Might be 8 and 20. Yep. Isaiah 8 and 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them, because this word is the light. All right. So if you're speaking according to this word, then what? You're going to walk in the presence of the light thereof, and then that thou mayest be illuminated, enlightened. Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. So what are some things that are profitable unto us? The scriptures, this truth. All right. This knowledge. All right. Now, when you go to the book of Hebrews 12 and let's head over there real quick. All right, Hebrews 12 and 16. It says here, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. All right. So once again, these other nations don't have a part in the scriptures as we do. They're spoken about. All right. And when you know that precept in Jeremiah, of course, we're prophets, and yes, we do prophesy to these other nations as well, because when we talk about Edom, we let them know who they are. We let them know what's going to befall them in the future. So though we prophesy to Israel, we also prophesy to these other nations as well. But it doesn't include them the same way it includes Israel. All right. They're written about, so of course we're going to prophesy about them. We let them know, look, you're going in shackles. You're going to, you're going to be servitude. Same with you other nations. We let them know, yo, you so-called Caucasians go back to Esau, Edom. You are the Edomites. And they try to fight it, but it's not going to do them any good, whether you fight it or not. It doesn't change the fact that this is what's going to happen to you. And we tell them, according to the scriptures, according to our book, this is what the Lord said about you. All right. So it says, verse 4, Baruch 4 and 4, O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. Now, how do we know the things that are pleasing to the Most High? Well, it's in the scriptures. All right. How do you learn the things to do? How do you learn how to serve the Lord? You read the scriptures, but it really has to be explained to you. All right, now this is Psalms 147, verse 19. It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob. Now, what is his word? His word is the whole book, the whole roll. And he showeth his word. Let's look up the word showeth or sheweth. All right, it says Nagad. To be conspicuous, to tell, to make known, to declare, to expound. All right. To inform of, to publish, to acknowledge, to confess. And this should take us where? To the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7, which says, surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. And who are his servants the prophets? Israelites. All right, and his secret, though the book is there and anybody can pretty much pick it up and read it, the secrets are in the understanding of the scriptures. All right, and breaking down the various nations and the various prophecies. All right, those are the different secrets that the Lord reveals to us, his prophets. So we can all read it, but the actual mysteries and the truth of it is not going to be given to everybody. And it's damn sure not going to be given to anybody that's not an Israelite. Because even amongst Israel, not all Israel understand, all right, or have the secrets of the Bible. But as it says here, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his commandments unto Israel. All right, so these words that are showed, they're showed to us. Verse 20, he hath not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. All right, there were no Edomite prophets of the Lord. Okay. It says, I'm going to repeat it again. He hath not dealt so with any nation. As for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. Okay. Now, I'm going to come here to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 5. And it says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord Yahawah my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them. Now, in today's day and age, this applies not just to the Old Testament or the Torah, but to the whole scriptures, everything. Because when we follow the things written in the Old Testament and the New Testament and the Apocrypha, this, all right, verse 6 applies to that as well. As it says, keep therefore and do them. So we do the things that YAHAWASHI said. We do the things that Paul said. We do the things that, are written in the Old Testament. It says, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. So sometimes we pull out prophecies from the Apocrypha, we pull out prophecies from the New Testament, but all of it together comprised the Bible is our understanding, it's our wisdom and our understanding, what? In the sight of the nations. Okay? So it's our wisdom and our understanding, it's our book, all of it. Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great? Who hath God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? You see? So it's exclusive. All right? It's exclusive and it's only for Israel. Other nations are written in there. There's information that they can find out in there, but the book doesn't belong to them. It's not their book. All right? And the book of Obadiah is not a book for Esau. It's not a book that says, hey, this is, you can take this part and you guys can have this. No, it's still ours. All right. But from this, we'll tell you what's going to happen to you, because this is what the Lord said concerning you. Hey, by the way, in our book, the Lord said this is going to happen to you. Just thought you might want to know that. All right. Now, as it says here, this is our wisdom, right? And when you go here, so in essence, the scriptures are our wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations. Okay, and when you come to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 24, it says, for wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of the Most High, and a pure influence, all right, flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her. So what's an example of a defiled thing? Esau, Edom. He is a defiled thing. Let's go back to the book of Hebrews 12 and 16. Because what was Esau called? A fornicator and a profane person. Let's see what it says here for profane. Bebelos. It says here, unhallowed, uncommon, ungodly, profane. Okay, so if something is unhallowed, meaning it's unholy, and if it's unholy, then it's also defiled. Okay, because now let's look up the word defiled. Defiled, it says here, desecrate or what? Or profane. Okay, so Esau being profane also makes him defiled. And if he's defiled, pursuant to Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 25, there can no defiled thing fall into her. Into who? Into wisdom. And pursuant to Deuteronomy 4, what is the wisdom, the ultimate wisdom? The scriptures, the statutes, the judgments, the commandments, the laws, the whole book. Remember, verse 6 says, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. What is that this? The scriptures. It's our wisdom and our understanding in the sight of the nations. And back to Wisdom of Solomon, there can no defiled thing fall into her. And there's various other scriptures, Daniel 12, that says what? That none of the wicked shall understand. All right. I believe in Isaiah 25 or so, it talks about the deaf adder that stoppeth his ear. So it's not for them. They're not going to get it. You know, they're not even going to accept it, majority of them. But nonetheless, it's still true. All right. It's still true and it's still ours. So, hey, to answer your question in the short sense, just reread what I said up here. All right. The whole book is for us. Okay. It's still our book. It's written by us and it's written for us. All right. But yes, it does talk about these other nations in there. Okay. But nonetheless, for example, the book of Obadiah is not Esau's book, to put it like that. All right. So with that, Lord willing, you were edified. And until next time, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BaHa, SHAM, YAHAWASHI, BaHa, SHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. Shalom.